Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the hopeful elect of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Gotta give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. The Most High, the Heavenly Father, his Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahaya, not Allah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shai. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shai. So gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rekah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether you can accept it or not. In a sincere salutation to all the Akim, pushing this truth and believing this truth throughout the four winds of the earth, the entire world, waking up the hope for the elect. And shalom to the Outwalk who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. I'm Isaiah from GMS Orlando Camp coming at you another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. Another daily edification, Lord's willing, is be edifying. And I title this lesson, It All Comes Out, How Babylon the Great is Falling. Now this is a guy, his name is Chris Hedges. And he always going in on how Babylon the Great is being destroyed from within, how it's collapsing, the infrastructure, everything, the economy, the economic, everything. So, and this is new. So, Lord, when I'm going to play this and get some precepts, and this is cold, man, because I used to do lessons on this guy like heavy in 2019, but it's so much other things been going on. I kind of like strayed away from it. But he always going in on how America is going to be destroyed. Now, this is from July 20, 2021. It's only 12 minutes, but it hit hard. So, Lord, let's be edifying. This is for educational purposes only. This is not for monetary gain. I do not own the copyright to this video. This is for educational purposes only. Lord willing, it be edifying. Oh, let me turn this volume down. This is cold, man.
The American empire is coming to an end. The US economy is being drained by wars in the Middle East and vast military expansion across the globe. It is burdened by growing deficits, along with the devastating effects of deindustrialization and global trade agreements. Our democracy has been captured and destroyed by corporations that steadily demand more tax cuts, more deregulation, and impunity from prosecution for massive acts of financial fraud, all the while looting trillions from the US Treasury in the form of bailouts. The nation has lost the power and respect needed to induce allies in Europe, Latin America, Asia, and Africa to do its bidding. Add to this the mounting destruction caused by climate change, and you have a recipe for an emerging dystopia. Overseeing this descent at the highest levels of the federal and state governments is a motley collection of imbeciles, con artists, thieves, opportunists, and warmongering generals. And yes, I am also speaking about the Democratic Party. The empire will limp along, steadily losing influence until the dollar is dropped as the world's reserve currency, plunging the United States into a crippling depression and instantly forcing a massive contraction of our military machine. Short of a sudden and widespread popular revolt, which does not seem likely, the death spiral appears unstoppable, meaning the United States as we know it will no longer exist within a decade or at most two. The global vacuum we leave behind will be filled by China, already establishing itself as an economic and military juggernaut. Or perhaps there will be a multipolar world carved up among Russia, China, India, Brazil, Turkey, South Africa, and a few other states. Or maybe the void will be filled, as the historian Alfred McCoy writes, by a collection of transnational corporations, multilateral military forces like NATO, and an international financial leadership self-selected at Davos and Bilderberg that will forge a supranational nexus to supersede any nation or empire. Under every measure, from financial growth and infrastructure investment to advanced technology, including supercomputers, space weaponry, and cyber warfare, we are being rapidly overtaken by the Chinese. In April 2015, the US Department of Agriculture predicted that the American economy would grow by nearly 50% over the next 15 years, while China's economy is predicted to triple and come close to surpassing America's by 2030. China became the world's second largest economy in 2010, the same year it became the world's leading manufacturing nation, pushing aside a United States that had dominated the world's manufacturing for a century. The Department of Defense issued a sober report, At Our Own Peril, DoD Risk Assessment in a Post-Primacy World. It found that the US military, and I quote, no longer enjoys an unassailable position versus state competitors, and it no longer can automatically generate consistent and sustained local military superiority at range. McCoy predicts the collapse will come by 2030. Empires in decay embrace an almost willful suicide, blinded by their hubris and unable to face the reality of their diminishing power. They retreat into a fantasy world where hard and unpleasant facts no longer intrude. They replace diplomacy, multilateralism, and politics with unilateral bombastic threats and the blunt instrument of war. This collective self-delusion saw the United States make the greatest strategic blunder in its history, one that sounded the death knell of the empire, the invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq. The architects of the war in the George W. Bush White House and the array of useful idiots in the press and academia who were cheerleaders for it knew very little about the countries being invaded, were stunningly naive about the effects of industrial warfare, and were blindsided by the ferocious blowback. They stated and probably believed that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, although there was no valid evidence to support this claim. They insisted that democracy would be implanted in Baghdad and spread across the Middle East. They assured the public that US troops would be greeted by grateful Iraqis and Afghans as liberators. They promised that oil revenues would cover the cost of reconstruction. They insisted that bold and quick military strikes, shock and awe, would restore American hegemony in the region and dominance in the world. But it did the opposite. As Zbigniew Brzezinski noted, this unilateral war of choice against Iraq precipitated a widespread delegitimation of US foreign policy. Historians of empire call these military fiascos a feature of all late empires, micro-militarism. The Athenians engaged in micro-militarism when during the Peloponnesian War they invaded Sicily, suffering the loss of 200 ships and thousands of soldiers and triggering revolts throughout the empire. Britain did this in 1956 when it attacked Egypt in a dispute over the nationalization of the Suez Canal and then quickly had to withdraw in humiliation, empowering a string of Arab nationalist leaders such as Egypt's Gamal Abdel Nasser, and dooming British rule over the nation's few remaining colonies. Neither of these empires.
And that guy who we just mentioned, the president of Egypt, he was the one that said the Jews left black and came back white. So they was already, they was, and that's why he said that, man, because of them coming up against Egypt.
Empires recovered. While rising empires are often judicious, even rational in their application of armed force for conquest and control of overseas dominions, fading empires are inclined to ill-considered displays of power, dreaming of bold military masterstrokes that would somehow recoup lost prestige and power, McCoy writes. Often irrational, even from an imperial point of view, these micro-military operations can yield hemorrhaging expenditures or humiliating defeats that only accelerate the process already underway. But empires need more than force to dominate other nations. They need a mystique. This mystique, always a mask for imperial plunder, repression, and exploitation, seduces some native elites who become willing to do the bidding of the imperial power or at least remain passive. And it provides a patina of civility, even nobility, to justify to those at home the costs in blood and money needed to maintain empire. The parliamentary system of government that Britain replicated in appearance in its colonies, and the introduction of British sports such as polo, cricket, and horse racing, along with the elaborately uniformed viceroys and the pageantry of royalty, were buttressed by what the colonials said was the invincibility of their navy and their army. And England was able to hold its empire together from 1815 to 1914 before being forced into a steady retreat. America's high-blown rhetoric about democracy, liberty, and equality, along with basketball, baseball, and Hollywood, as well as our own deification of the military, entranced and cowed much of the globe in the wake of World War II. Behind the scenes, of course, the CIA used its bag of dirty tricks to orchestrate coups, fix elections, and carry out assassinations, black propaganda campaigns, bribery, blackmail, intimidation, and of course, torture. But none of this works anymore. The photographs of physical abuse and sexual humiliation imposed on Arab prisoners at Abu Ghraib inflamed the Muslim world. It fed Al-Qaeda and later ISIS with recruits. The assassination of Osama bin Laden, he was unarmed, it's called assassination, and a host of other jihadist leaders, including the US citizen Anwar al-Awlaki, openly mocked the concept of the rule of law. The hundreds of thousands of dead and millions of refugees fleeing our debacles in the Middle East, along with a near constant threat from militarized aerial drones, exposed us as state terrorists. We have replicated in the Middle East the US military's penchant for widespread atrocities, indiscriminate violence, lies, and fatal miscalculations that led to our defeat in Vietnam. The brutality abroad is matched by a growing brutality at home. Militarized police gun down mostly unarmed, poor people of color, and fill a system of penitentiaries and jails that hold a staggering 25% of the world's prisoners, although Americans represent only 5% of the global population. Many of our cities are in ruins. Our public transportation is in shambles. Our educational system is in steep decline and being privatized. Opioid addiction, suicide, mass shootings, depression, and morbid obesity plague a population that has fallen into profound despair. The deep disillusionment and anger that led to Donald Trump's election, a reaction to the corporate coup d'etat, and the poverty afflicting at least half the country have destroyed the myth of a functioning democracy.
Now, I just want to play this beginning piece again, because this is most important. Everything he said, man. And if you can see on the side over here, it say, in RT News, it say Chris Hedges, who lost his job for warning about Iraq and all the other stuff, man. So let's play this beginning piece again.
The American empire is coming to an end.
And that's all we need. Now let's get these precepts. Hey, and this got cold with it, man. Cold with it. This is Psalm 64 and verse 7. It reads, "But power shall shoot at them with an arrow, suddenly shall they be wounded." How is they being wounded? Verse 8. "So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away." Hey, and it's been going on, man. You had the book I got, most brothers got, you got the Roman Empire, the Empire of the Edomites, which by William Beeston. You got the book Who is Esau Edom by Charles Wiseman. Hey, man, they've been making their tongue to fall upon themselves, man. Hey, but when you see it, it's beautiful, man. Because the Lord is wounding them. Now they hurt, man. This is so I'm gonna start here with Genesis chapter 9. What the Lord say? Hey, for putting your hands on the apple of the Lord's eye, man. Eventually, you got to come back down to your original habitation. As the scriptures say, when you read Lamentations 2 and 1, it say, "How have the Lord destroyed the beauty of Israel and brought them down to the ground? How have he cast them down? He cast down our beauty," which is what our original habitation, and did what? He raised up the heathen, right? He brought, that's why I tell you was that 1 Samuel 2, he said, "He lifted up from the dunghill. He bringeth low and lifteth up." So when he brought us down, he brought the heathens up, right? So now what's going on? Hey, we're going back, we falling back into our original habitation, and they falling back into theirs, man. They are becoming the bases of men as we were. Now we're going back into the beauty of Israel, man. This is Genesis chapter 9. In verse 6, it reads, "Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For in the image of power made he man." This is Exodus 21 and 16. "And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death." Are we not still found in the hands of the rulers? Yeah, we is, man. I just say in Jeremiah 50 and 33, right? Judah and Israel were oppressed together. All that took them captive refused to let them go. You can't leave Babylon the Great. Jake think they free. We are not free. This is Numbers. Every time you leave here, you gotta have a passport. And if you be gone longer than your passport expire, your days on there, they're gonna come get you, man. This is Numbers 35 and 33. Just reading these scriptures. Hey, it's time to go down, man. Numbers 35 and 33 read, "So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land. And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shared therein, but by the blood of him that shed it." What happened to us during 70 AD? When they came and hit Jerusalem and Judah, Benjamin, and Levi had to flee, a lot of blood was shed, man. Same as happened in 586 BC, man. When Nebuchadnezzar and the Babylonians came and took down Judah, Benjamin, Levi, and Jerusalem, man. A lot of blood was shed. They surrounded Jerusalem for 18 months, man. A lot of Jake starved out, man. When Nebuchadnezzar did it, Jake starved out, man. A lot of blood was shed, man. Same thing happened over here with Gad and Reuben and Issachar and Simeon and Ephraim. All these tribes, man. Blood was shedded. It say again, "And the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shared therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. What the Lord said in Genesis? Let's read again. Genesis 9:6. Whoso sheddeth man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed. For the image of power made he man. Hey, and this ain't talking about any man and all men, Israelite men, who he said, hey, you put your hand on them and you got to pay, which the Lord had them put a hand on because we went off. Hey, but the scripture say when we read Zechariah chapter 1 and 14, Zechariah 1 and 15, it say they went overboard, man. These devils went overboard. So you got to pay. Now, precept of Numbers 35 and 33 is Habakkuk 2 and 12. It reads, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. You got to pay, man. Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and established a city by iniquity. This is Psalms 75 and verse 6. And it reads, for promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. But power is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. And this happened, man. It's happened with Israel. He put us down and raised up these devils. This is verse 8. For in the hand of the Lord Yahweh there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture. And he poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. When you go to Jeremiah 25, it gives you all the nations. Matter of fact, let's read it. It say all the wicked shall drink. This is Jeremiah 25. I'm going to start at verse 15. It reads, for thus saith the Lord Yahweh, power of Israel, unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand, and cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink it. And they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among them. It say all nations. So who is the right hand of Yahweh? Yahushua. Then took out a cup at the Lord's hand and made all the nations to drink, man. 2/3 of Israel and all 17 heathen nations. Why? For putting your hand on the apple of the Lord's eye, man. It say, then took out a cup at the Lord's hand and made all the nations drink, and made all the nations to drink until whom the Lord had sent me. To wit, Jerusalem and the cities of Judah and the kings thereof and the princes thereof. Oh, Salak, let me turn this volume back up. It say to make them a desolation and astonishment and hissing and a curse as it is this day. Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and his servants, and his princes, and all his people. We know this ain't talking about ancient Egypt. Verse 20. And all the mingled people, and all the kings of the land of Uz, and all the kings of the land of the Philistines, and Ascalon, and Azar, and Ekron, and the remnant of Ashdod, Edom, and Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all the kings of Tyrus, and all the kings of Zidon, which is all these Hamites, and all the kings of the isles which are beyond the sea, Dedan, and Timor, and Buz, and all that are in the utmost corners, and all the kings of Arabia, and all the kings of the mingled people that dwell in the desert, and all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes, all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another, and all the kingdoms of the world, which are upon the face of the earth, and the king of Sheshach shall drink after them, meaning Babylon the Great. When you look at that word Sheshach, it's talking about Babylon the Great. Therefore, thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall, and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thy hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua of hosts, ye shall certainly drink For lo, I will begin to bring evil on the city, which is called by my name, 2/3 of Israel, and shall be utterly unpunished. So as I always say, Israel gonna be destroyed too, along with Babylon the Great. For I will call for a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts. That's why the scripture say, who shall escape these things, man? He said, for I will call a sword upon all the inhabitants of the earth, said the Lord Yahweh of hosts. Who's going to be able to escape this, man? If you're going to cause it, hey, every nation, peoples, and tongues, man. Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, the Lord Yahweh shall roar from on high through who? The hands of his only begotten son. It say, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation, which is who? The nation of Israel. He shall give a shout as they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. A Noah shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord Yahweh will have a controversy with the nations. That's why he tell you in Zephaniah 3, wait ye upon me. My determination is to rise up to these nations, man, to pray. He called them prey, man, because we was a prey to these nations. So all 17 nations are going to be a prey to Yahweh Shema Shah. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, behold, it say, oh, Salaki, moving too fast. First Jeremiah 25:31, a noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. First and foremost, them intercontinental ballistic missiles. Then Yahweh Shah coming to intervene. It say, for the Lord Yahweh have a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. This ain't talking about save. He's talking about judge grievously. He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth, man. World War III. And the slain of the Lord Yahweh shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be but dung upon the ground. Now, I read that because in Psalms, as it said in Jeremiah 25, all these nations is going to drink, man. All of them, man. Why? Well, put your hands on the nation of Israel, man. For this is Psalms 75:8. For in the hand of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, there is a cup, and the wine is red. It is full of mixture, and he poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. Jeremiah 25 confirms this. But I will declare forever, I will sing praises to the power of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. This is Isaiah 51 and 22. Isaiah 51 and 21. And it reads, therefore hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Talking about you, Jakes. When you go to Isaiah 29 and 9, it say, they stagger, but not with wine, right? And not with strong drink. Who is talking about? Jake. The philosophers of the world have destroyed us. Therefore, hear now this, thou afflicted and drunken, but not with wine. Thus saith thy Lord, the Lord, and thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling. I can tell you in the curses in Deuteronomy 28, starting at verse 65, you will have no ease. It say, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again. So once upon a time, this was happening to, and we still on the curses. But when you repent, then you falling back until that original, your original righteousness, Lord willing. It say, because first you gotta repent, man, and then you start to fall under that Proverbs 16 and 7. When a man ways please the Lord, he make even his image to be at peace with him. That's also in Jeremiah 15 and verse 11. It tell you that. It say, as a matter of fact, let me read that real quick. It's Jeremiah 15:11. The Lord Yahweh said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily I will cause thy enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. So the Lord has given us, he's given us this grace to fall under this, man. All you got to do is just follow the blueprint. So back in Isaiah 51, verse 22 say, thus saith the Lord, and thy power that pleadeth the cause of his people. Behold, I have taken out of thy hand the cup of trembling, even the dregs of the cup of my fury. Thou shalt no more drink it again, but I will put it into the hands of them that afflict thee. And it's all, man, all 17 heathen nations had their hands on us once upon a time. It say, hey, Shabbat Shalom, Shalom, Yahweh Shema Shah. Hey, Shalom, everybody on the comment board tuning in to the Argument of Waf, Yahweh Shema Shah, Barakathum, the Wafa tuning in. It say, but I will put into the hands of them that afflict thee, which have said to thy soul, bow down, that we may go over, and thou hast laid thy body as the ground and as the street to them that went over. Hey, they did what they want to do to us, man. Because when you read Ezekiel 35:10, they said these two nations, right, are given to us to consume, man. That's what these devils said. The Lord say, hey, this is about to cease. This is Isaiah 33:1. It reads, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. Because as it say, what in Galatians 6:7, hey, you gotta pay, man. You gotta pay. Because when you go to James, this is James 2:13, it reads this. It say, for he shall have judgment without mercy that show no mercy, and mercy rejoiceth against judgment. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 6. It reads, seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh Shema Shah to recompense tribulation to them that troubled you, and to you who are troubled, rest with us when the Lord Yahweh Shah shall be revealed from heaven with the mighty angels in flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not power and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power. And we waiting patiently for this, man. We waiting patiently. Hey, because the Lord finna get busy, man. All we gotta do is wait patiently. This is Jeremiah chapter 49 and verse 12. As a matter of fact, this is verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. See, they had power when they was in secret, man. They power was they secrecy, man. But now, through the Spirit of the Lord, right, he have revealed these devils, man. That's in 2 Thessalonians 2:8, right? It say by the Spirit of the Lord's mouth, man, will he destroy them, and with the brightness of his coming. But first, by the prophesying, man, prophesying the downfall of Babylon the Great. It say, but I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren, and his neighbors, and he is not. Lead thy fatherless children, I will preserve them alive, and let thy widows trust in me. For thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have surely drunken, which is the Israelites, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished. Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. For I have sworn by myself, said the Lord Yahweh, that Basra shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse, and all the cities thereof shall be perpetual waste. This time about Babylon the Great, man. And you heard it. Hey, you heard it straight from the horse's mouth, man. This is you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 7. And it reads, Babylon had been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. That's why I tell you Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. What happened when you go to the border? That means fight, man. You got to fight. It say Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up to the skies. Verse 10 reads, the Lord Yahweh have brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord Yahweh, our power. And that's what we're doing on the highways and hedges on the unicorn 24/7, man. We're doing what? Declaring the Lord's righteousness, man. Because he said he will set us in order before their eyes, right? Verse 11 reads, make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord have raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon, make the watch strong, set up the watchmen, prepare the ambushes. For the Lord Yahweh have both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thy end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. Hey, it said the Lord Yahweh of hosts have sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men, dead bodies, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. It say, he have made the earth by his power, he have established the world by his wisdom, and have stretched out the heaven by his understanding. When he utter his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heavens, and he causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightnings with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven images. For his molten images is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. The Lord ain't playing, man. When you read these scriptures and see how cold the Lord is, he's not playing, man. This Jeremiah 50 and 24. Jeremiah 51 and 24 reads, and I will render unto Babylon and to all inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua. He said, I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord. Hey, you got to pay. Hey, the Lord, man, showing his power just for putting your hand on the wrong people, man. Like it said, of course, you could have slaves. That's in the law. But what you did, well, that's why they had this chick, what her name is, Billie Holiday, strange fruit hanging from trees. Hey, when a man, if you put a man to death and you use a hanging method to kill them, you're supposed to take them down, man, when they die and bury them the same day, man. What did they do? They left us up, man. That's wicked, man. That's wicked. You don't cut the rocks off men, cut their feet off, because they tried to run away, cut their hands off. These different, butt breaking. That's wicked, man. Matter of fact, let me read 25. Let me get that precept. This is Jeremiah 51:25. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord Yahweh. What's a destroying mountain? The greatest one on the earth, man. Babylon the Great. Behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord Yahweh, which destroyeth all the earth. And that's also Revelation 11:18, man. It said, which destroyeth all the earth, man. Who's cutting down the trees, man? You got these coyotes and wolves, hey, running wild out here because they don't got no habitation, man. That's why the scriptures say these animals, these bears, these animals gonna be everywhere, man. Amidst the zoos being unlocked. So these animals gonna be out here, man. Teeth of wild beasts. Jeremiah 15. Not how we see it's gonna play out, man. Hey, just like I love to bring out when the Lord says gonna be earthquakes in diverse places, He don't tell you how the earthquake's gonna happen. He just says it's gonna be earthquakes. These are the signs. Now we know how earthquakes happen. How this devil taking the oil out the earth. So now we got earthquakes, right? So the same way these devils cutting out all the trees, these animals, they need some water. They need food. They run the food one side of the world, man. Guess what? The animals gonna run to that side of the world, man. So now you got bears hitting people garbage cans looking for food. You got coyotes and wolves running. Man, listen, man. These things is playing out. Why? Because him who destroyed the earth, man. It say, behold, I'm against thee. I am against thee, O destroying mountain, saith the Lord Yahweh, which destroyeth all the earth, chemtrails, GMO foods, contaminated waters. We got transformers running rampant all around the world, man. Bestiality laws have been passed in over 20 states, 10, 15, 20 states, man. It say, and I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks and will make thee a burnt mountain. That's Obadiah 1:18, man. This is hey, cause you devils went too far, man. what your boy said in what's this movie, Shout Us? Your boy, he said you went too far now. Hey, they went too far, man. This is Zechariah chapter 1, in verse 15, and reads, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen. Teddy Buckshot, that's his name. Real name, Louis Rankin. It said, I am very, Zechariah 1:15, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. They comfortable. That's why I said, and I read in Isaiah 51, hey, they walked all over us, man. It said they are at ease. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. You went overboard, man, with slavery, man. They allegedly let us go, 1865. Then you send a slave patrol after Jake. Then you create prisons and jails. You went overboard, man, and you got to pay for it. And I am very sore displeased with the heat. Matter of fact, let's read verse 14. It reads, so the angel that communed with me and said unto me, cry thou, saying, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with great jealousy, man. You got to pay, man. And I am very so displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forth the affliction. You went overboard, man. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies, redeeming the elect, man, the remnant. My house shall be built in it, saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem, man. Because they tell you that, what is that? Isaiah 34. As a matter of fact, that line is talking about, when you look at that old ancient map of Israel, all 12 tribes had their own land, man. Isaiah 34:17, here you go right here. And he shall cast a lot for them, and his hand have divided it unto them by line. That's the precept. They shall possess it forever. From generation to generation shall they dwell therein. So this is man, hey boy, you devils got a lot of torment and torture coming, man. Thus saith the Lord. This is Zechariah 11:4. It reads, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, my power, feed the flock of the slaughter. Well, who did it? Yahweh Shemawashah did it. That's why Isaiah said in Isaiah 63:17, O Yahweh, why hast thou made us to err from thy ways? This Zechariah 11:5, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. That's why it says Zechariah 1:15 that the heathen are at ease. It say, who possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. You see? And these devils went overboard, man. This is James chapter 5:1. It reads, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your misery that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. What's the rust of what? You done been heaping treasure so long. Hey, you got old money, man. Jake used to love to say, I got old money. These devils got old money, man. Zillions of dollars, man. These devils got. They can end world hunger with the snap of a finger, man. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you. You done heaped up all this for nothing, man. And shall eat your flesh as it were fire. That's why I tell you in Revelation 17, that the 10 horns shall hate the whore, and they shall burn her and make her desolate and naked. Right? It say, ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you, keep back by fraud. You ain't paying the laborers. Everybody would get on this guy Jeff Bezos because he got them working in Amazon in poor conditions, man. Well, we've been working like that for the longest, man. So-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians been working in poor conditions since we've been here. That's the reason why we here, man. We ain't here to get rich, to live a good life, man. We here for judgment or punishment, man. It say, which is of you keep back by fraud. Before you get your money, they done took money out of it. And you supposed to give a man a day's labor, man. It don't supposed to be no bi-week or weekly pay, man. It's supposed to be every day, man. It say, which is of you keep back by fraud, cry off, and the cries of them which have reaped are enter into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, man. Hey, Yahweh Shema Bashar armies, man. The cries, it say that the hopefully let cries is going into the ears of the Lord, man. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the days of slaughter. You have condemned and killed the just, and he doeth not resist you, because we don't suppose to resist, man. Right? Be patient, therefore, brethren, until the covenant of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth. What is this talking about? For the elect to be sealed, man. Revelation 7:1. Right? The elect got to be sealed before Yahushua can return, man. It said, be patient, therefore, brethren, until the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waited for the precious fruit of the earth and have long patience for it. First off, Yahweh and Yahushua. Waiting patiently, man, because he do things that it say, well, that 2 Ezra 4:37, right? He do not move nor stir the times until the said measures be fulfilled, man. Everything had to be fulfilled through prophesying, through the words of the Lord, man. Yeah, of course, he can either snap his fingers and all that can be sealed, and the MOTB be presented mandatory. Well, all that can happen, but that's not how he do things, man. He do things through long suffering, long patience, man. Hey, because everybody gotta, hey, as we always go into, you would not have an excuse saying, I didn't know, I ain't know there was a man of the Lord. I thought I had more time. Everybody, you would not have an excuse, man. The Yahweh said in John 15:22, if he had not come, they have not sinned. But now they have no cloak for their sin. Every last one of us will have heard this word before Yahweh shall return, man. There's no excuses. Again, James 5:7 say, be patient. We gotta go through all this. Like this chick talking about, Who want to listen? Who will believe in the book? Man, we gotta be patient, man. Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth. Hey, the predestined ones, man. Everybody got to fall back into their lot, man. And have long patience for it until he receive the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient, establish your hearts in what? This truth, man. As it said in Colossians 1, man, you got to be rooted and built up, established in this, man. Otherwise, you ain't going to make it, man. First and foremost, pray unto Yahweh Shema Shai, because the scriptures say the Lord, hey, our prayers are like a sweet savor to him, man. If you had everything you had, if you had everything you wanted on earth, why would you pray to Yahweh Shema Shai? Be ye also patient, establish your hearts. Stay meditating on Yahweh Shema Shai, man. Stay praying to the Lord to give you strength, man. Fast, man. Hey, the Day of Atonement coming up. I hope you're ready for it, man. Day of Atonement coming up soon, but you should be prepping for it anyway. It say, be ye also patient, establish your hearts, for the coming of the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, draweth nigh. Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standing before the door. Hey, listen, man. The Lord said these devils, everything these devils is doing is prophecy. Got to play out. But have your heart established, man. And Yahweh Shema Shai, everything gonna be all right, man. Of course, we ain't seen nothing yet. But if you know, hey, the Lord say the angels encamp around them that fear him. And in Psalm 91 say the angels will gonna cover you, man. Let me get back to this. This is Jeremiah 51. In verse, as a matter of fact, let me get this verse. The second Ezra 11. I'm gonna start at verse 39. And because these devils is done, man. It said, are not it that remaineth of the fourth beast, which was the Roman Empire? It said, are not it that remaineth of the fourth beast, whom I made to reign in my world, that in the end of their times may come through them? Who, to my North America, Babylon the Great, came through the Roman Empire. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past, and had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth, and with much wicked oppression. And so long time dwelt he upon the earth with deceit, but the earth has thou not judged with truth. For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars. And they tell you in Psalms, that Psalm chapter 50, it said thou consentest with thieves. It say thou hast loved liars and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit. What dwellings? Jerusalem, Israel, man. And have cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealings come up to the highest. And that's what it says in Jeremiah 51. It said their sins have reached unto heaven. That's here, 2 Ezra 11:43, Jeremiah 51, and it's also in Revelation 18, man, that they sins have reached into the heavens, man. And hey, sins reaching to the heavens, man, that's heavy. But the Lord still got long patience, man. Still got long patience, man, for that precious fruit to be sealed, man. Therefore, as thy wrongful dealings come up to the highest, come up unto the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty. And we know Obadiah 1 and 3, the pride of their heart have deceived them. Verse 44 reads, the highest also have looked upon the proud times, and behold, they are ended, and his abominations are fulfilled. This is a future prophecy of the abominations being fulfilled. What it said, that's Luke 21. What it say? Luke 21 and verse 24, it said, matter of fact, let's read that. This is Luke 21 and 24, and it reads, reading the point, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, which was Israel, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And this in the red. This is Yahushua saying this. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So they still got a little ways to go to finish destroying the earth, man. But the point is, it's coming, man. Time is coming when it's going to be fulfilled, man. But they got a little more to go. Let's get one more precept to back that up. This is Revelation chapter 11 and verse 1. It reads, no, verse 2, reading the point. It said, but the court which was without the temple, leave out and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. And who was in the city treading it down? You guessed it, the Job 9:24s. Can't make this up. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 60. This is what Jeremiah told Sariah. Let's read this. It's Jeremiah 51 and 61. It reads, matter of fact, let's read 60. So Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that shall come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Sariah, when thou comest to Babylon and shall see, and shall write all these words, then shalt thou say, O Yahweh, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it. This ain't talking about ancient Babylon. Because ancient Babylon is in Iraq and it's occupied right now today. Then shalt thou say, O Yahweh, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever. This is not Iraq, which was ancient Babylon. Verse 63, and it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book. When is the end of the reading of this book is going to be done away with? When the elect get sealed, man. Because when the elect get sealed and go into the chariots, man, the Lord's going to put the law in his elect. Ain't going to be no need for no book no more, man. This show you this not talking about ancient Babylon. It say, and it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book, then thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast into the midst of the Euphrates. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. Now it say, and it shall be when thou hast made an end of reading this book, thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast into the midst of the Euphrates. This is Revelation 18 and 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. So when we see this guy, Chris Hedges, matter of fact, let's read Revelation 18 and 1 now. It's Revelation 18 and 1. When we see this guy talking about, hey, Babylon the Great is fin to fall, man. It's already crumbling, man. It's barely being held up, man. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having a great power, and the earth was lightening with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is falling, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hole of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. What's this wine? The philosophies, the policies, the legislations, the democracy, the draconian laws, man. It say, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxing rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. When they say, come out of her, my people, this is talking about getting beamed up into the chariots, man. Because when you read in Micah 2 and 10, when they say, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, that's that spiritual, mental, emotional separate from Babylon the Great. And then getting beamed into the chariots. It said, I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. That's when you read in Revelation 11 and 12. When they say, the voice told them, right here, Revelation 11. In verse 12, it say, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in the cloud, and their enemies beheld them. But it's the same difference right here in Revelation 18. Again, it say, Revelation 18:4, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. Hey, so that's how you know it's talking about going to the chariot, because otherwise, your ass gonna be destroyed, man. Verse 5, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and power have remembered her iniquities. Reward her, even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double, according to her works. In the cup which she have filled to her double. That's cold, man. That's why it's about this cup, man, that you got to drink. We had to drink it. People talking about let bygones be. Man, get out of here with that, man. Hey, you have to pay, man. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall not see sorrow. Therefore, since you want to talk proudly, therefore, Yahweh Shema shall say, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord power who judgeth her. Now, when it say right here, for she saith in her heart, I sit as a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. The precept to this is in Isaiah 47. Let's read it. Say the same thing, man. It's Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. It's reading the point. In verse right here, verse 5, it say, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. You see? So Revelation 18, it said, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall not see sorrow. It say what? It say, for thou shalt no more be called the lady, the who? The queen of kingdoms. Shall no more be called the lady of kingdoms, man. You ain't no queen, man. This is oh, let me go back to Revelation. I want to finish that. Revelation 18. In verse 8 again, it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah power, who judgeth her. So, hey, everything this guy's saying, I want to run this back one more time, man, just the beginning of this. Hey, because this is cold, man. His judgment is about to come down, man, and we waiting patiently. All the prophecies playing out, man. I'm gonna tap this one more time, make sure it's sharing. Cause this is cold, man. I just want to play the first couple of minutes. I ain't gonna even go that far. Oh, let me turn the volume back down. So like it. Bear with me. I just want to play this one more time before I get you brother precepts. And I'm gonna close out.
The American empire is coming to an end. The US economy is being drained by wars in the Middle East.
Hey, and that's spiritual, man. But what happened with the oh, call Yahweh Shema Shah. I wanted to read this. Listen to this. See, that's the spirit. I had to go. I want to bring this out. The Wali Yahweh Shema Shah. You heard what he just said. Hey, how did Rome fall? The monetary system, they were destroying it. They was constantly taking away from the silver and adding copper to it, right? Devalued the money, right? The army was spread too thin. They couldn't pay all the soldiers. Hey, same thing going on now. That's why the veterans can't get money, man. They done sent all these veterans to war to go fight, and they can't even help them out, man. This Habakkuk chapter 1 and 6. This is cold. It said, for lo, I raised up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation. What is America? What's the definition for America? Bitter, man. America known the word is mean. It mean America mean bitter. It said, "For lo, I raised up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs." Man, starting with Alexander the Great. Man, it said they are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. That's why I read 2nd Ezra chapter 11, 39 through 44. Man, it said they are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves. Their horses also are swifter than the leopards, and are more fierce than the evening wolves. And their horsemen shall spread themselves. You see, their horsemen shall spread themselves, and their horsemen shall come from far. They shall fly as the eagle that hasteth to eat. They shall come all for violence. Their faces shall sup up as the east wind. But it said they had heat treasure for the last days. I read in James 5. They all these scriptures are all linked together. It say they shall come all for violence. Their faces shall sup up as the east wind, and they shall gather the captive. They shall gather the captivity as the sand. Who? So-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, and make the other nations follow their ways. And they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them, to my Israelites. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it. What does scripture say about the serpent in Genesis 3? It said, "What? Dust shall thou eat all the days of thy life." This is talking about the Job 9:24. Verse 11 say, "Then shall his mind change, and he shall pass over and offend, imputing this his power unto his God." Hey, who mind changed? Did not this guy, what's his name, man? Antiochus Epiphanes, man. When he passed back by Jerusalem, when he got defeated, what did he do? He heard, hey, the scripture tell you he went to go take down Jerusalem because he was mad, man. Because he heard us. It say, "Then shall he change his mind, and he shall pass over and offend, imputing this his power unto his God." Hey, the point is, it said again, "And they shall scoff at the kings, and the princes shall be a scorn unto them. They shall deride every stronghold, for they shall heap dust and take it." But what? He said they spread themselves, man. Again, right here, Habakkuk 1:8, it say, "And their horsemen shall spread themselves." They spread it too wide, man. They are spread it too thin, man. Let's run this back, man. You can't see, you can't make this up, man.
The American empire is coming to an end. The US economy is being drained by wars in the Middle East and vast military expansion across the globe. It is burdened by growing deficits, along with the devastating effects of deindustrialization and global trade agreements. Our democracy has been captured and destroyed by corporations that steadily demand more tax cuts, more deregulation, and impunity from prosecution for massive acts of financial fraud.
Hey, that's enough, man. You see? And I was thinking about this earlier too, man. All these PPP loans that they've been giving out, right, to help these companies. Because see, it was supposed to be for the companies that was messed up during this pandemic, right? Man, all that money they're giving out, even if these ones didn't find ways to get these PPP loans, man, that giving out all that money, they trying to crash the dollar anyway, man, because they gotta bring in a new currency, man. These devils think they slick, man. Let's see. Get a couple of these precepts and I'm gonna close out. This is seek the Most High kingdom, Malak. Isaiah 46 and 10 reads, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient time the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasures. Oh, let me get this. Thinking about, I got two more precepts, man, to tie into this. This is Isaiah 47 and 11, and it reads, therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Why? Because the Lord say, the proud of your heart, he said, the Lord say, let's read it, Jeremiah, Jeremiah 50 and 22, it reads, the Lord cold, man. It's Jeremiah 50 and 22, a sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? Who is the hammer? Babylon the Great. How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? How I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The Lord Yahweh have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation, for this is the work of the Lord, Yahweh power of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. So you are not aware. Now, let me get this in Obadiah. It's Obadiah 1 and 7, and it reads, all the men of thy confederacy. Matter of fact, let's read 6. How are the things of Esau searched out, and how are his hidden things sought out? How? Through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shah. He gave us spiritual fathers to give us his understanding. It's a Obadiah 1 and 6. How are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? Let's read it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 8 reads, and then shall the wicked be revealed. This is how. Whom the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. That's how. And shall destroy the brightness of his coming. How? He's been revealed through the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the spirit that he put on these spiritual fathers that we have today, man. And we all know who they are, man. They've been giving us sound doctrine. They've been giving us sound doctrine. So they came into it under their spiritual fathers, man. Back in Obadiah 1 and 7. All the men of thy confederacy, what is this talking about? Everybody that's joined to Babylon the Great through the UN. All of them. All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Future prophecy. They that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. That's why I say all the merchants of the earth have waxen fat, right? They follow under the from the delicacies, right? They wax fat from everybody sell they merchandise here, man. It say they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. They don't understand. Why the Lord say? Because he laid a snare for them, man. The Lord cold, man. And it's all because of what? Let's read verse 10. Obadiah 1 and 10. For the violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. That's it, man. For the violence against your brother Jacob, man. All this is because of the violence against your brother, man. This is Zechariah 2 and 6. It reads, ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north. Here's another one, meaning mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Ho, ho, come forth, flee, and flee from the land of the north, said the Lord Yahweh. For I will spread you, for I have spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven, said the Lord Yahweh. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. For thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, after the glory have he sent me unto the nations which spoiled you, for he that toucheth you toucheth the apple of his eye. That's the whole point, man. That's the whole point. Oh, let me get this. There's another scripture I had about the cup. This Lamentation 4:21. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter Edom. Meaning what? Hey, live it up, man. Live your best life now, man. You might as well live it up because you're about to go down hard. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. That's why he's saying Jeremiah 49:10, I have made Esau bare. Everybody know now, man. We know who you are, man. You are an evil twin brother, man. And now it's time to pay. This is one of my top 10 precepts. This is seek the Most High Kingdom, Bon Malak, Deuteronomy 10:12. And now, Israel, what doth the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh thy power, require of thee? But to fear the Lord Yahweh thy power, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve the Lord Yahweh thy power with all thy soul, with all thy heart, and with all thy soul. That's all we got to do, man. That's all we got to do, man. Seek the Most High Kingdom, Bon Malak, 2 Ezra 6 and 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob, which are the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians, and Jacob, you 12 tribes of Israel, is the beginning of it that followeth. And that's how beautiful the kingdom, bro. You got Zechariah 20 right there. I ain't even see it. And that's how beautiful the kingdom gonna be, man. It don't even tell you what's coming. It just say, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. What's the it? Hey, the kingdom of heaven, man. You can go read it in when you read about when the Lord gave Ezekiel the measurements of the temple, man. Then you can read a little bit in Revelation 21 about the kingdom of heaven, man. It tell you a city is prepared, man, and rest is allowed, man. In 2 Ezra. All we know is, hey, it that followeth, man. That's how glorious it's gonna be, man. Hey, you brother got the precepts up already read. Man, you know y'all had them on the board. Hey, it's beautiful though, man. Hey, so Lord wills edifying. Gotta give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Bahashim Rikah Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel. And a sincere salutation who rule well, who teach well. And a sincere salutation to all the Akim pushing this truth and believing this truth with the four winds of the earth, the entire world, working on the hope for the elect. Shalom to the outwalk who are listening and learning, the few sisters who are listening and learning. Hey, the for tuning in. May Yahweh Shema shall continue to bless you in your houses. Stay prayed up. Hey, the water for the precepts. Oh, let me read a couple of these. I must be allowed to read these. It say, it's cold. In this lightning, Yasha Shalom, Mark, Yahweh Shema Shah Rakatah. Isaiah 3 and 11. It say, woe unto the wicked, it shall be ill with him, for the reward of his hands shall be given him. Beautiful. This is same brother in it like the Yasha Psalm 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling place to all generations. They call the lands after their own names. Oh, beautiful. Let me read this. I gotta read this. This is Micah chapter 2. It say in verse 2, it say, and they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. This is the point. Therefore, thus said the Lord Yahweh, behold, against the family do I devise an evil, against this family do I devise an evil, from which you shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. In that day shall one take up a parable against you and lament with a doleful lamentation and say, we be utterly spoiled. He have changed the portion of my people. How have he removed it from me? Turned away, he have divided our fields. Therefore, thou shalt have none that shall cast a cord by lot in the congregation of the Lord. See, it say you're gonna be destroyed, man. It was another I wanted too. I think it's in Habakkuk. Let me see real quick. Um, this is Habakkuk 2 in verse 15. It say, woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. See, this is what you did to the other nations, right? That's why I tell you in Revelation, in Jeremiah 51, it said the nations are mad because they have drunken of the wine, right? So this is what you did to other nations. So the Lord said he's going to do it to you. That's why I say in Jeremiah 49 and 10, I will make Esau bear, because you did it to the other nations. It say, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink. And they're supposed to be your neighbor. They're supposed to be the ones that join to you through the UN. It say, woe to him that giveth his neighbor drink, that putteth thy bottle to him, and maketh him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. This say, verse 16, thou art filled with shameful glory, drink thou also. Another precept about the cup you got to drink. And let thy foreskin be uncovered, the cup of the Lord's right hand, which I read in Psalm 75 and Jeremiah 25, the cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Because it said what? What verse is that? It said, he have violently taken away thine house. What verse is that? Man, I forgot what verse that is. I thought it was in Habakkuk though. Let's see, real quick. Salakia, bear with me for a minute. This is Habakkuk chapter 2. In verse 6, it say, shall not all these take up a parable against thee, against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that laden himself with thick clay, meaning debt, which they are in, it say, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them, because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of thy people, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood. If you brothers know where that at, because he have violent taken away an house. It say, and for the violence of the land and of the city and of that dwell therein, and of all that dwell therein, woe to him that coveteth an evil covetousness to his house, that he may set his nest on high, that he may be delivered from the power of evil. That has consulted shame to thy house by cutting out many people, and have sinned against thy soul. I was looking for that one. If you brothers got it, put on a comment board real quick. Let me read that. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and close it. I ain't gonna worry about it. The point was made. But it say how he violently taken away a house. I forgot what chapter it was in. But anyway, the point was made, man. The point was made. So Lord willing is edifying. Till next time I say Shalom. Wah Abba Ball. I think I've seen a couple more of these precepts I want to read. This is Adam Nana, Jeremiah 51 and 58. Thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts. It said, the broad walls of Babylon shall be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with fire, and the people shall labor in vain. And the folk, and it said, in the fork in the fire, and they shall be weary. Yeah, man. Beautiful. Hey, so yeah, so the water for tuning in. Till next time, I say Shalom. Wah Abba Ball.